Hey friends, today I want to talk about snacking. This is one of the things that I work most with, one of the things that I work most with my clients on, because snacking is so prominent. It's prevalent everywhere. It starts from mere childhood because people think that if a child needs to be quiet or entertained, we can do that with a snack. And it's true. I've done it with my kids. But the challenging part is that carries on. So often, if we start to deal with strong emotions, whether positive or negative, we want to eat. We want to snack. If we're celebrating things, we want to snack. If we're doing something fun or exciting, like watching our favorite movie or an exciting sporting event, we want to snack. We seem to pair food with so much of the day-to-day life that we do outside of mealtime. So snacking is what I call the food we eat outside of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, breakfast, lunch, and dinner might happen at different times during the day for different people, but those are your main core 3 meals of the day. So snacking are those times when we're eating outside of those 3 main meals. Okay? Snacking in itself is not inherently bad. Okay? But we need to look at why are we snacking. Snacking is often where a lot of extra calorie consumption happens. It's a lot of where binge eating happens. It's a lot of where negative eating habits happen. The choices we make around snacking are often not the same choices we would make at a mealtime. At mealtime, we often think, okay, I need to have some protein, I need to have some vegetables, I need to have some carbohydrates and some fats. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to eat this meal. We eat less distracted generally at a meal, and we focus on what we're eating. We eat hopefully to the content feeling of full or just satisfied, and then we move on. But snacking is often linked to an emotion, or snacking is often linked to an event. And this is where snacking can get a little bit tricky, because if it becomes a negative pattern, that's where it can really influence our health. So let's talk about snacking. When you work with me, I start to teach you that snacking is really only necessary if you're going to be longer than 4 to 5 hours between meals. So, say you're eating breakfast roughly around 7 o'clock in the morning, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's why it's very normal to have people eat breakfast around 7 a.m. and then roughly 4 to 5 hours later, it's lunchtime. If your lunchtime is going to be pushed till 1 or 2 o'clock, a snack is a wise choice because it helps that natural kind of decrease in sugar levels where your body starts to get hungry. It helps maintain kind of focus and keep those hunger levels in check. So if you're going to be more than 4 to 5 hours between a meal, snacking becomes a very needed thing. That's okay. Go for it. Have a snack. What kind of snack are you going to pick, though? That matters. Ideally, we want to pick whole foods, just like we would in our meals. I often say a snack is determined by the size. A snack is a smaller portion than what we would take at a meal. So I say if at a mealtime, we would generally have about a palm-size amount of protein. At a snack, if we were going to have protein, we would cut that in half. Just have a half portion of protein. Ideally, we want to match protein and fat and vegetables and carbohydrates together. Ideally, a snack is not just one thing, and that's where a lot of times we start to get into negative snacking patterns, because generally, if we snack, people just want to eat carbohydrates or fat because it tastes good. All right. But ideally, if you can take at least 3 of the 4 groups, so I'm talking about protein, fat, carbohydrates, and vegetables, a snack, try to have at least 3 out of the 4 or 2 out of the 4. Match up carbohydrates. So say you're going to have some crackers, match it up with some hummus or some vegetables, whatever you can do to kind of match up, and that helps in sustaining blood sugar levels, helps in increasing fiber content, helps in making sure that we're actually making a healthy choice versus just eating for the sake of eating. Okay. So you want to hit 2 to 3 out of the 4 groups, and you're thinking half portion size. So normally, if I would have a cupped handful of carbohydrates, in the amount that would fit in my cupped handful, I'm going to cut that in half. Okay. Now that might not be the same for all people. Okay. But that's a good starting point. Okay. So we want to choose nutrient-dense foods. We want portion control in our snack. We want to balance out those macronutrients by having at least 2 to 3 out of the 4 kind of there. We want to include fiber, so that's why it's really great to include things like fruits and vegetables at snack time. So pairing apple with peanut butter, or pairing a small clementine orange with some nuts or seeds. We're pairing 2 or 3 of the groups together. You do ideally want to plan ahead if you're going to need snacks, because otherwise you go for convenient snacks. And those are generally where those choices are foods that we want to eat less often. Okay. So we want to be mindful in how we start to snack. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of the biggest changes that the majority of my clients see when they're working towards their goals is the fact that they weed out almost all, if not all, snacking in their day-to-day. And you know what it does? First of all, it saves you on food prep time. We already struggle to make meals. So if you have to make snacks on top of that, that's more food prep. That's more grocery time. That's more grocery money. You're actually saving food by not needing to snack. If you can be strategic and smart in making healthy, balanced meals that are going to feed you and sustain you, it's less food you need to eat. It's less food you need to prepare. Fantastic. That's a win. I love it when I see on social media people, calling for what are healthy snack options. Well, if we do a little bit more work in making sure our meals are on point, we've got to snack less, and that's more that we don't have to worry about then. So, snacking, again, really only necessary if we're going to be more than 4 to 5 hours between meals. We want to have balance. We want to have whole food options as much as possible. We want to be mindful about what we're putting into our mouths. Snacking in the evening. Is it evil? No. Is it going to immediately turn to fat because you go to bed afterwards? No. Snacking inherently in the evening is not bad. The problem is that at evening time, when you're done work for the day, or you've gotten kids into bed, or you're sitting alone, notoriously, the choices we make for food at that time of day are not ideal. So, if you struggle with that, if it's not needed, then just cut it out. Get rid of it. And that's, again, I work with so many clients on this habit. I'm like, does your body actually need more food at night? Because maybe you didn't eat enough during the day, or maybe you didn't eat balanced enough through the day. So yeah, maybe your body is legitimately hungry and you need more food in the evening. I know sometimes my husband, he's in the trades, and sometimes he does not get to break for lunch because of the nature of the work that they're doing and the time restraints that they're in. And so he will have breakfast in the morning, he will come home and have dinner, and then at night he will snack. But it's because he missed lunch. So yeah, his body did not take in enough calories through the day, and so his hunger is cueing him that he needs more food, and legitimately he does need it. Now, is he always making the best choices at nighttime? No. But if he actually needs that food, then yeah, then we work to get him some healthy options, some healthy snack foods. He'll often have cottage cheese with a bit of fruit, or apple with peanut butter, things like that are a smarter choice. Again, 2 to 3 of the groups combined in a smart portion, because his body actually needs the calories. So if you're struggling with snacking, number 1, why are you snacking? Do you actually need food? Number 2, are you making good choices around snacking? Because if you're not willing to actually make a salad because you're that hungry, or eat some vegetables with some dip, or you're ready to cut up an apple with some peanut butter or something like that, then if you're just reaching for that bag of chips, or you're just reaching for that chocolate, it's most likely that you're bored, you're doing it out of habit, or you're emotional or stressed out. So those issues we need to address separately. Those are different issues. And that's why snacking often shows us where the struggle points are. All right. So those are some of my tips on snacking. Do you actually need to snack? Is it necessary? And if you choose to snack because it is necessary, then what snacks are you picking? Whole foods, in balance, in portion. If you have questions or comments, post below. I'm happy to share. And let's take on this snacking together.